This is the art of selling travel. We're diving in to give you useful and practical tips on how to make more money starting now. We're pulling back the curtains on the best sales strategies to show travel professionals how to close more sales and create raving fans. Helping travel advisors master the art of selling travel. You can't market your way out of a selling problem. This is the art of selling travel. And here to guide you through it all, Glenda Beagle.
Hello, how are you today, Donna? I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah, great to be here. Nice to have a nice sunny day out there for a change.
Absolutely. Now, for those that have never heard of you, why don't you go ahead and tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Donna McGougan. I have started I guess it would be a COVID business, but it's always been a passion of mine to help travel agents set up their systems, sort out their workflows. So I created Travel Advisor Solutions, and it really started from helping my fellow agents in my host agency, help them work through how do I book a client, right? We're taught the travel side of it, but we don't necessarily always learn the steps of keeping our business running, the business side of travel. So that's what I started.
That's awesome. I love it. Anytime somebody sees a need in the market and that there's a problem in the market and they've got a solution. That really is, that people, by the way, is what business is. Your clients have a problem, you have a solution. So how do you make the two go together?
Exactly.
So you do a lot with CRM work and things like that, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. Travel Joy. So again, just through a default, learning on my own, trying to teach myself efficient ways. I started off with the paper of all my client information, the folders, eventually sticky notes everywhere. It wasn't working for me, so I had to find solutions. And fortunately, in the travel industry, we're lucky that we have quite a few that we can choose from. So I've tried them all, like Test, Vacation Creation, Vacation CRM, and Travel Joy. I originally started with Travel Joy, and in the end, that's the one I went back to. As a solopreneur, it just checked all the boxes for me, fell in love with it, introduced it to other agents, and I just thought for the small travel advisor or small business owner, it really works well. So I love helping people set up their Travel Joy, show them all of the things that Travel Joy can do to help them grow their travel business, keep their clients happy.
That's awesome. So now if somebody is listening and they're like, oh, what the heck is a CRM, much less what is Travel Joy? How would you best describe that to them?
So a CRM, I guess when you Google it, you look it up, it's client relationship management. Basically, it's where you keep track of the details on your clients. So instead of having all of that written down on a piece of paper, you store that in one digital place. Now, Travel Joy is really great, and so are some of the other ones, in that you can create forms. When you're getting passport information from your clients, you can create a form to send that to them. They fill it out, they send it back to you, and that information is automatically added into your Travel Joy or what the other CRMs that you may choose. So it just saves you a step. It cuts down on errors, which is what I really love. Less mistakes, right? Less phone calls we have to make to the clients. It's just a way to keep all of your client information, trip details. If you want to refer back to, do they prefer an aisle seat when they're flying, or do they have to have a king bed because the husband is 6'3" and that's all he can sleep on? Just those little details that improve the client experience so that people really love working with you and they want to come back to you.
That's awesome. And I heard so many good things in that. One was the automation, but two, it really comes back to that client relationship management and making sure, because it is those little details. If they never have to tell you every time, oh, don't forget it needs to be a king size bed, because on the second or third time, they're like, oh, and can we get a king? Absolutely. I've already got it marked down. I know, he's sick. He's so tall. We've got to do this. Yeah. It just gives you kind of that thing that the internet can never touch. And exactly. That order takers never touch. You know, those ones that work in the call centers and other such, where they're just inundated and they don't get to work with the same people over and over again. This is where you get to add that human connection, because it's through connection that people want to buy from you.
Yeah.
They
They
want to have,
trust you. They know
absolutely.
you've got their back. They know you get them. They know that you understand how they like to travel without having to explain that every time they want to take a trip. And that's what's going to make them refer their friends, their family to you, is if they have that fantastic experience and they know that you've got everything under control, they're going to refer you. And that's way cheaper than spending money on your Facebook ads, or, trying to get people to your website so they know who you are. You want people to do that advertising for you because they trust the experience with you.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that gets overlooked so many times. There is a lot of multi-million dollar agents out there, or advisors out there, who don't spend a cent in marketing. Why? Because they work on a referral based business. It just markets itself for them. Now, I'm not going to say you can completely get away from marketing, because marketing is absolutely critical. But as you all know, you can't market your way past a bad selling job. You can't market past a sales problem. But it also too, it's the whole idea of, if they get to, like, they so genuinely believe that you're connected to them, because you are going to remember those things. At the time of the recording, I'm getting ready to do a photo shoot coming up soon. So last week I was shopping for new clothes, and I tried on an outfit and I didn't like it, but I wanted to try it on with the jacket. So I came out just to double check the jacket somewhere else. And the sales clerk comes up, "Oh my goodness, that's so beautiful." And just the way she went on and on and on. And then when I got up to the tail, and she only ever showed up to put the clothes in. She saw me come out once. So she comes over to tell me how beautiful everything is. And let's be honest, it was hot. It was muggy. I had been running errands. I had been wearing a mask all day. I was a big old hot mess. So there was nothing beautiful about the whole situation. And the shirt underneath the jacket was hideous.
Oh,
And
no.
then I don't see her again until I get up to the tail, because I continued to shop on my own. I get up to the tail. She's like, "What? There's only one item?" And it was just like, "How dare you? Like, you wasted my time for one item." And I'm like, I remember why I don't shop here, And then actually, I'm going to go chase a little squirrel here. I went to another store, because I am plus sized, so there's limited options. Went into another store. This was a large retail brand, higher end, and they have an entire floor dedicated to women's clothing. And then they have this corner with like no cashier, no salesperson, no anything anywhere's in sight. It's dingy, it's dark. It looks, honest to goodnessly, like it's half warehoused, because nothing's hanging right. And that's the plus section. And when I left and I walked all the way back through all the other women's sections, I'm like, wow, you don't want me as a client. This is why I hadn't been back in a few years. And then you hear that this retailer's struggling. And I'm like, I kind of get it. Because when I walk past cosmetics, where at the time of the recording, we're still heavily in restrictions. So all of those cosmetic things are all covered up. You can't do any samples. There was 5 cosmetic salespeople standing together, having a conversation and laughing. And yet there's nobody to work the plus size women's clothing store or clothing section. And there's not a relationship there. I know that they don't want to do business with me. They couldn't care less about it. And so when a client comes to you, they've already worked with you once or twice, they've already come in, you want them to say, "Oh, this is why I shop here," rather than, "Oh yeah, this is why I don't." And that customer relationship management tool is that difference. It is that piece that they're like, "Oh, I so remember this. Yes, this is why." I actually got a call this past week. As many of you know, I don't really sell travel anymore. I have a couple of clients that I've held on to, but generally speaking, I don't sell anymore. They haven't traveled in 4 years, but they still had my phone number because we've built that relationship. And as soon as I heard the name and other such, I was like, you know what? Yes, I will still help you. And we picked up right where we had left off. She's like, well, you know that we really like these. I'm like, you're right. And it was really cute because she's like, and you know this and you know that. And I'm like, great, you're reminding me.
That's
But
amazing.
that's the relationship that I built over all of those years of being a travel advisor. So even though it's been 4 years since I've talked to them, they were like, you're the one we have to search out. So I did explain to them, I don't take on new clients. I only help a handful of my existing. And even at that, I'm going to be honest, I pick and choose who I work with. I do refer off the bulk of the clients because that's not my primary business model. But I work with the ones that I enjoy. She's like, oh, I'm so glad we made the cut. But it's that relationship that we've built up over those 15 years of selling travel as a frontline and other such. It's those relationships that are reciprocal.
Yeah.
And therefore, those are the ones I'm continuing with. And I think we so underestimate the importance and the value of a relationship in business.
Absolutely. And as your business starts to grow, you still want to be able to give that same care and attention to every client. That's why they come to you, is for that level of attention to those details. And that CRM, it's just that insurance that you do remember those little details and that you haven't forgotten anything and you aren't missing anything. And the other thing that's really important too in that client care process, or making sure that all those little details that they love that you do for them are taken care of, is having something to keep track of your trip management, all those extra details that you do for them. Do you send an email to the resort letting them know that this couple is there for their anniversary, right? If you have a checklist to help you keep track of all those extra steps, or even just reminding yourself to send out a final payment notice, you're still able to give that great level of care to your clients, but still grow your business. You're not missing a step at all as your business grows.
That's awesome. Now, for those that have never experienced a CRM, or maybe they have it, but they're not actually using it,
Yep.
do you put every person you come in contact with in it, or do you only put the ones that you're actually close the deal with in it?
I keep everybody in there as soon as they have contact with me. That it's a great way to track your leads. So if someone, maybe they're just asking you about a destination and they're not quite ready to book that trip yet, I still have their contact information. And again, in that trip management or a booking process that you'll outline, you're going to have a way to go back and just circle around and check in again with those people, whether it's in 3 months, if it's in 6 months, just to follow up and see, are you still interested? Are you still thinking about, this trip that we talked about a few months ago? So I keep everybody in there, everyone.
Awesome. No, I love that, because I think a lot of times travel advisors are like, but they didn't book anything, we're not going to put them in there. Everybody doesn't buy the first time.
Right.
Just like you're going to walk in a clothing store, you don't buy every single time you try on an outfit. You don't look at that outfit and say, yep, that's the right one, and take it home every single time. So just the same way, your customers or your clients are going to do inquiries. The no's aren't no's. They're often not yet, or I don't have enough information yet. So if you can have some sort of record where you can record what you've talked about and kind of let that continue on. Now, you'll also notice the pattern, especially for those that have the ones that are like, oh, what's a great deal to Mexico? And then you notice that they ask you every 6 months. Well, maybe this is a really good opportunity to double check your marketing, because you might be attracting those ones, but also you will notice that they're doing this every so often and say, have you actually gone? Because perhaps they are using you for information for the internet, in which case you need to, again, change your approach. But the other thing is they're like, no, we still haven't gone. Now you're going to change the conversation and you're going to say, okay, great. So what are we missing so far? How can we do something different? What are we looking for? Because obviously we haven't found it yet. So what is it that we're looking for? And you might be surprised by the answer. Sometimes the answer is, oh, I don't know. I guess everything's here. Great. So can we go ahead and book this time? And if you don't have a record of what's going on, you'll make stories up in your own head as to what the situation is. Cause you'll be like, oh, I've talked to them 80 times. And you look at a CRM, you're like, actually, I've talked to them 3 times. Never mind. And it allows you to have a better record, a better tracking for your business that way.
Exactly. Clear picture of what's going on in your business. Like you say, they could just be tire kickers every single time, or they're just not ready to travel yet. And again, look at your marketing and look at your sales. I mean, and Glenda, going through your sales coaching has been a real eye opener for me. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm not asking certain questions. Maybe that's why I still have these people that I talked to, a year ago. Well, pre-COVID, that wouldn't be an issue, but a year ago, we haven't booked a trip yet, right? And why? So just having those notes, tracking everyone who comes in contact with you really is invaluable information for your business.
Absolutely. And I don't think you can ever have too many statistics in your business.
No.
So long as they're based on your business and you're not trying to infuse somebody else's statistics into your business. You need to know, how often have you talked to somebody? How many times have you actually, now this is a kicker, and we'll talk about this on other episodes, actually asked for the sale. Sending out an email that says, let me know if you have any questions is not asking for the sale. But you need to know when you ask them, and you got a defined yes or no, what it is that you can do with that and that sort of thing. But just before we wrap up here too, I just want to know, what's the best nugget that you think every travel advisor should know about in their business?
We all have a process, whether we know it or not. A process is what you're doing repeatedly. Now, whether or not that process is working for you or can be tweaked, you just want to pay attention to, what do you do every time you work with a client? Is it the same, or are you doing something different every time? So just pay attention to that process. And that's another way that's going to help you be able to efficiently and confidently book your clients and give them that level of care that you are known for and that you want to be known for.
I absolutely love it. We all have a process, because how many of us don't think we have a process? We're like, I don't know, I haven't actually figured it out. I will be the first to admit, many times my process is that of chaos. And so I would, if I was to tag on to that, I would say, recognize you have a process, but also be open to refining it.
Yes.
Because your process has gotten you this far. It's not going to get you to the next level. And so what got you here won't get you there. I have an amazing business mentor that is basically his ongoing mantra. I've heard it in a number of places, but that's where it really sticks. What got you here won't get you there. And so we need to look at it when we do get stalled out. And of course, we all know that we're outside of the 2020, 2021 world. Sales looks a little bit different. The processes look a little bit different, but at the same time, you are going to plateau. And if you are still looking for additional business growth, additional sales growth, you've got to be open to refining your process. Let's have a look at it. See where we can find something that we can change ever so slightly. It can be absolutely the smallest detail that changes. In my business, when I work with travel advisors, legitimately the most underused, most common way that they can increase their number of sales is, can we go ahead and book that today? Rather than, let me know if you have any questions.
That's right. Yeah.
Imagine all that work, all the quoting, all the proposing, all the everything else that goes into it. And all you had to say at the end was, can we go ahead and book that today?
One simple sentence changes all of it.
It does, doesn't it? And so that is, so always be open to refining. There can always be something that can be improved, but at the same time, don't just always look to improve.
That's right.
Exactly.
Don't change it if it's working.
Exactly.
But you say travel evolves, your business evolves. You may move away from booking a certain type of travel. So don't, be open to that change, but don't change just for change.
Absolutely.
One thing I see travel agents doing a lot is that shiny object syndrome. A new tool on the market comes out, right? You're using Trello, but now you're hearing people talk about ClickUp to keep track of all those tasks you need to do for your business. If Trello is working for you, stick with it. You don't necessarily have to get the latest, the greatest, unless you are lacking something and you do need to add it. But yeah, don't get distracted by all the new shiny stuff. If it's working for you, stick with it, keep doing it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And there's a lot of being busy for the sake of being busy, but they're not actually accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
And if you're not actually accomplishing anything, guess what? You're not actually profitable. And so it's getting out of that learning mode and into the doing mode. You will get so much further in your business by doing than you ever will by learning. And I'm not saying the doing is going out and famming, because fams are still part of learning, just so we are clear on that. But it's actually getting out in front of a client, having the courage to get out there, to ask for that sale, to ask them to put their trust in you, their faith in you, and actually getting really uncomfortable, because what you learn through the yes is invaluable. What you learn through the no is 10 times more valuable, but you can only learn so much before the doing is the only way you're going to get moving.
It's true. Yeah. Just take that first step in the right direction. Implement what is going to help your business, not just keep you busy.
For sure. For sure. Now, my final question that we ask all the guests before we head out is, at the time of the recording, where's the last place you've been? And what is on your absolute must see as soon as where's the next place you're headed or want to go to?
So if we don't count fams, the last trip that I took was a family vacation. We sailed around the Greek islands because my boys were really into the Greek mythology. So that was fun, planning that trip with them to see the different, historical sites based on the mythology. So that was really fun, really exciting. Would love to go back there. But there's so many places in the world. The next trip that I do have, hopefully soonest, if I have all my vaccinations in place, who knows what people are accepting, is to do an Alma Waterways cruise, doing their Colors of Provence cruise in December. Fingers crossed. But my family, we have the Wanderlust. So this summer we bought an RV, used RV in the spring, and we're planning a cross Canada trip in August.
That's awesome.
All the borders are open. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, just see Canada. This is our one summer to do that. So fingers crossed it all works out.
Absolutely. If it was my family, I would totally have visions of National Lampoon's family vacation.
Yeah, that's totally my family. Like my husband already has the hat. I just have to get on the short robe because of Eddie. Yeah, we're good to go.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. That's awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks. It was great.
Talk to you later. How awesome was that? I just love any chance I get to hang out with Donna. If you want to know more about Donna's offerings and everything that she does to help travel advisors, I want you to check her out on Instagram at Travel Advisor Solutions, or you can go to her website at traveladvisorsolutions.com. Or as always, I'm going to link it up in the show notes at artofsellingtravel.com/show notes, and you're going to be able to find it all there. We'll catch you guys all next time. Take care.